All right, all. Hey, we're so glad to have you here for our report on the We the People ride as we make our way across the country calling for common good immigration and border practices. My name is Doug Paget. You can see Tim Gilman on the line there. He's just in the room right next to me. Tim is traveling along on this, so are Mario and Ruben, who might be dropping in. We now have just a small crew with us tonight. Sometimes we have 15 people traveling with us, like we'll have next week, and sometimes we have a small crew of 4. And we'd love to have you join us. So whether you can make your way down here to Marfa, Texas, where we are right now, I don't know, maybe you're within driving distance of Marfa and you're saying to yourself, I want to be part of the We the People bike ride for common good immigration and border practices. And I'd love to join in. We would be delighted to have you. So consider maybe joining us. I'm going to show you some pictures and tell you some stories about what's been happening on the road. And as people pop in tonight and join us, we'll entertain their questions. If you're watching this on all the social media places where you see this, maybe you're on the Vote Common Good page, or you follow Vote Common Good on Twitter, or you're on the Christian Left Facebook page, any of those places where you find yourself, we're glad you're aboard with us and watching, and we will love to answer your questions as well. So if you have any questions for us, put them up there. And then Britton, who lives over in Tennessee, gets those and text messages them over this way, and then we have a chance to respond to them. So through the wonder and beauty of technology, we'll be doing those, that keeping up with you. You can see Wanda's going to be joining here. Wanda's been one of our riders with us for the last since we started for the last 4 weeks. We started this ride on January 11th. So we did not start on January 11th. We started thinking about it on January 11th, but we started riding on September 11th. After a day meeting in Tijuana, Mexico, and in San Diego, California, talking with people impacted by border policies, talking with people who enforce border policies, including the Border Patrol. And we started riding across the country. And we're doing this for a whole number of reasons. One, we want to get close to the people who are impacted. So we traveled through California, we traveled through Arizona and New Mexico, and now we're in Texas. We're starting now to make our way south down the eastern border of Texas, just on the west side of the US-Mexico border. And we're going to go down to Brownsville and then follow the coast of the United States as we talk about the other places where immigration has such power. As we travel along over these days, we're traveling by bicycle. We also travel with a truck and with an RV. So we have a number of tools at our disposal out here to try to tell these stories of the people that we're meeting and the people that we're seeing. And I'd love to show you a picture of the truck and the trailer and all. So that's a lovely sunset we experienced in New Mexico. By the way, this country is dazzlingly beautiful. There are so many places that just take your breath away. And the people of the United States are beautiful people. What we're really calling for is that our immigration policies and border policies would match the beauty of our landscape and match the beauty of the people. We feel like that's not too much, frankly, to ask for, not too much to call for as we think about how we want our country to act and how we want to treat ourselves. So we travel with this trailer. It has bicycles in it. It has supplies, helps us a long way. So if you were to come, or if you know other people that are coming to join us, this is how they're going to be supported as well. We also travel with an RV. And I mentioned to you that we're in Texas. These are a few of our riders that were with us the day we entered into Texas. It's Mario and Dan and Abe. And we were all together when we finally came into Texas. And yes, Texans, please drive friendly the Texas way. Because not everybody today, frankly, on the road was driving all that friendly. And we'd love to see you all take this as an encouragement from your Department of Transportation in the great state of Texas to drive a little more friendly when you see some bikers up ahead of you. Scoot over a little bit. We can only do so much. And it's really scary sometimes on these bikes when you're seeing cars barreling down on you. So we're traveling along. We're here now in Texas. And I want to share with you a photo from today. It was a meaningful one. This was taken just between Van Horn, Texas, and Marfa, Texas. Look, if like me, you didn't know where Van Horn and Marfa, Texas were, open up your map apps, or go over to your bookshelf and pull out an atlas and flip open to the state of Texas and go way over to that eastern side, that western side, and find Van Horn and Marfa. It's like out in the middle of what people would call nowhere, over by Big Bend National Park. So we were having a lunch break, and during our lunch break, Ruben was, doing the stuff in the trailer, and Mario and I were eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and Lay's potato chips. That's how it goes on this kind of a tour. So we're about 30 miles or so into the ride, and up pulls two Border Patrol vehicles. Man, you see pictured here, gets out and said something to the effect of, "Hey, we've been hearing about this trailer and truck driving through here, and we're tracking some migrants that are out in the desert just on the right side there. That area goes out to the border, but we're 50 miles or more, 60 miles from the border, the mountain range in between. So we're tracking some migrants," and kind of paused. And I said, "Do you need to look in our trailer?" And he said, "That would really be helpful to keep me from, just being confident." So we opened up our trailer and showed him that it was just bicycles inside. And he went on to tell us, he said, "The migrants we think are coming to this location. We think they're coming to this place. This is where we think they're headed right to this. There's a box that was sitting over there." And they said, "We think they're coming right to this place." And last night we were told, Wanda was actually told that by the sheriff to, quote, "be careful because they're tracking 70 migrants across the desert and are looking to apprehend them." Now, why these Border Patrol and state troopers are out telling rando people like us what's going on is a bit beyond me. And I said to him, "Hey, yeah, we've been spending a lot of time crossing the border and with migrants, and we have spent time with the humanitarians that go out in the desert and give food and water to the people who are crossing because their lives are in jeopardy." And he said, yeah, that's if they come in hungry or thirsty, we'll take care of them. That's what we're supposed to do. And I said, "Well, okay, I know, that's what you're saying." I said, "Be good to them. Would you just be kind to them?" He said, "Yeah, we will. We're human beings. We're just enforcing the law. It's just about the law." Now, look, I'm not going to get into it with that particular Border Patrol. He's right about this. It is the law. The law says that people wanting to come into this country right now under Title 42 basically can't. The law says that we don't have a decent worker program to allow people to come in the country to work. The law says that to come in the country not in some other kind of through a port of entry is illegal. Yeah, these are all things that are part of the law. The law says fundamentally that there's no way for migrants and asylum seekers to enter the country. We were just talking over dinner that in 2019, when these statistics, some of the most updated statistics being available, the United States, this is before COVID, the United States let in 118 asylum seekers from the country of Guatemala. 118. Someone sitting with us who had been at the shelter said, "I feel like I've met 118 people who are seeking asylum already that are trying to get in." So he's right about this, that it is the law, and he feels stuck having to enforce it. So here's what that has to do with all of us. Yeah, it's true that that's the law. And you know who makes the laws in this country? Our lawmakers make the laws in this country. You know who puts lawmakers into office? People who vote for them. It's a we the people government. That's why one of the reasons we call this the we the people ride. These laws exist because the people of the United States put these laws in place. So if we don't want these laws anymore, if we don't want laws where Border Patrol is having to use all this force and all this energy and trucks and horses and drones and high-tech censoring equipment, billions of dollars to make sure people don't cross illegally, we should make pathways for them to cross legally. As the mayor of a small border town in Arizona, the town of Douglas, Arizona, said to us, "If you want to build a wall, go ahead and build a wall, but put in a big gate so people can get into this country because it's needed all the way around." So we'd really love for you to know that you've got a part to play in all this. And we'd love to have you feel empowered to be a part of what's going on. A couple other little updates here from us. Here's a photo of a group ride that we did this week, just outside of Juarez, Mexico, the town that's the border town with El Paso, Texas. Got together a group of people, some who live in Mexico, some who live in the United States, and we did a border ride. We rode along the border wall. I'll show you in a minute a video of that. We stopped and did a communion through the wall. Some people on the US side, some people on the Mexico side. Went up then to the port of entry, crossing back into El Paso. Couldn't have been easier for us as Americans. We easily rode in, no hesitation, just waves from the people who are manning the entrance into Mexico. Didn't show them anything, didn't sign anything, didn't answer any questions, just a wave, and we're in Mexico. One of the people riding with us there, he's just moved to Texas. It was his first time being there. His name's Eric, and Eric said, we crossed over and across the border through the port there. He said, "Is that it? Are we in Mexico now?" Yeah, it's that easy to go in. And then getting out, super easy. We rode up and they pulled our bikes over to the side to get them through a wider gate. And then we walked through a turnstile and then went up and presented our passports and then said, "Oh, you're with this whole other group here? Have a good day. Welcomed us right back in." But if you're Mexican, you ain't getting in the United States. If you're an American, you can go right into Mexico, have a bike ride with friends. But if you're Mexican, you can't come the other way. Some people like to say that you can't have a country unless you have borders that restrict people from coming in. Pretty sure Mexico is a country, and I'm pretty sure we were easily able to go right in. So it's not just so simple as that we're not a country if we don't keep people out. And then we have this Title 42, which we were really calling on the Biden administration to remove. It's a health edict that allows the United States to not let anyone who's not a citizen or a green card holder to come into the United States across the Mexican-US border. It's been in place since March of 2020. It's time for that to be lifted. It has to be lifted. People who have visas and other reasons to come to the United States need to cross the Mexican border. Look, we crossed over to Mexico and back a bunch of times. We're going to do it again this weekend. We're going to do it again the next weekend. People are doing it all the time. People do it on airplanes. They do it on land. If it's about COVID, it just doesn't make any sense. It's like so many of our border policies and practices, in my opinion. They just don't make sense. They're just confusing as all get out. So that's part of the work that we're doing. And if any of you are on here and have questions or any of that, we would love to hear your questions and hear what you got. Tim and Wanda, any little updates from you? I've got some other pictures and some other updates to give, but Tim or Wanda, do either of you want to say anything? Wanda, I think that's a picture of you, so I'll wait for you to get your camera back off that you plan to do. Tim, any comments from you?
Yeah, I just was reminded again, we hear this in the mainland, inland, but I'm reminded again how truly interdependent these border towns are on each other. And oftentimes, Douglas was an example. The economy really, for Douglas to survive, really depends on the people being able to come across and work and shop and do business. So they truly are almost one community. So it's good to be down here and see that and understand it in a more real way than just in the abstract of hearing that said. But they truly are interdependent on each other.
Yeah. Hey, thanks, Tim. Hey, Wanda, I see you've got your camera on now. Anything you wanted to say to the good people?
I get unmuted.
There you go. You're unmuted. You're ready.
Yeah, there we are. I think Tim hit about all the notes that I was wanting to hit. Was happy to be able to get to ride a little bit yesterday. I'm about an hour from my house and hoping to be able to rejoin the ride when I get some health issues taken care of.
Yeah, Wanda's been riding with us since San Diego, lives in Arlington, Texas area, and it's going to be back out to join us. So good to see you, Wanda. I'm glad you're almost home safe. Again, message us when you get home, because we want to make sure that you're safe and sound. Hey, I'm going to show you a video here of that we made while we were over in Juarez. Let me make a comment or two about Juarez. In a lot of ways, the town of Juarez sits as this almost placeholder in people's minds for danger. Juarez has been a dangerous city. And it's very complex reasons why it's been dangerous. The cartel has been dealing with itself in Juarez and causing all kinds of danger and harm to people. And the drug cartels and the human trafficking cartels in Mexico are a real problem. They're able to only flourish, though, because of policies in the United States. It's about immigration and drug policies. So there's reasons why the drug cartels have their power and how they operate. But for a lot of people, what they think about when they think about Juarez is danger. And one of the things we're trying to do on this ride is to show people that, dangers exist. We all know that. Every town in America is a dangerous town. I'm from Minneapolis, and people will, hear me say I'm from Minneapolis, and they'll get concerned because of the police brutality that led to the response of citizens saying that changes need to happen last year. And they'll talk about the riots in Minneapolis and ask if it's safe. Mario lives in New York City, and there's a lot of people who are really scared of New York. Some of our documentary film crew is from Chicago, and people get concerned about Chicago. I know people from the urban environments who are nervous to go into rural environments, and people from rural environments that are scared to go into urban environments. And there's all kinds of reasons why we are. But the great majority, the almost always everything else that happens, the things that are not newsworthy because they're so normal, are that people love each other and they care for each other and they do good for each other. Over and over, we've been asking people that live in these border towns on both the Mexican side and the US side, we ask them this question: what do you know to be true that you wish the people in the rest of the United States knew to be true about your lived experience? And over, we're going to put a montage of these together. People just say again and again and again and again, it's safe here. It's good here. People should come here. People in Juarez were telling us that 2 days ago. People in El Paso, Texas are telling us that. So one of the reasons we crossed is because for a lot of people, they would say like, oh, that's dangerous. You shouldn't do that. Our motto for this ride, is love beyond borders. And we're not only trying to say that we want there to be love beyond borders, we're trying to say we believe there is love beyond our borders, right? That's the message of all this. So Dan Dietrich, who's was along with us, made a little edited together a little film. He sings in this video. He's a musician, and there's a communion service that we did through the wall. We're on the Juarez side, and then on the U.S. side, people were gathered, and we were doing communion through that wall, trying to find the love that exists on both sides. Because one thing we all know to be true, regardless of our religious traditions, is that if you believe in God, you believe that God's not bound up and held by some boundary or some border or some wall. So the same God that's on one side is the God that's on the other. And us putting up human walls, just full of all kinds of nonsense. So I want to share this video with you. This is one that Dan made, and I think it kind of captures well our the vibe and the feel of what we're all experiencing here. So here it is.
Still have strength to love their enemy. Blessed is the faith of those who persevere. Though they fall, they'll never know defeat. The kingdom is yours. The kingdom is yours.
So that's just a little clip of the kind of stuff that we did. That drum circle is happening on the U.S. side. We're partnered with a group called the Bara, and they have a property that sits right on the border wall, right there. It's so close that during that morning, just before that video was shot, we were gathered up there, and we heard the wail of a man, the hollering. He was a man that, in my guess, would have been upper 50s, maybe 60 years old. He climbed a fence just in back of the property, 18 feet high, and fell off the fence and landed and broke his legs. And so it brought him into that very place where the drum circle was happening, and cared for him and called the paramedics, who came and picked him up. And paramedics asked him if he was helped over by a coyote, somebody who escorts him over, and said yes. And they bandaged him up and put him on a stretcher, and then put some braces on his legs and took him to the hospital. And in the midst of all that, this communion service through the wall, this drum circle at night, people coming over the wall, people breaking their legs. You have to ask yourself, what is it that's driving a man of that age to climb over that wall? What's the desperation? He wasn't a drug dealer. He wasn't a murderer or a rapist, what our former president used to call these people. He's a man trying to work and save for his family. I know you hear this a lot from our current president, but we really can be better than this as a country. And some of what we're wanting to do in traveling here is to highlight the fact that we really can be, we really should be, and we really have the ability to be better than this. So that's what we're doing. We're trying to tell those stories. We want to get people close to it. We want to invite you to come down and get close to it. We're going to be along the Mexican border for another 10 or 15 days. So if you can join us anytime now, maybe in McAllen, Texas next weekend, or Brownsville, we'd love to have you. We're also making these short form stuff. We're also making a documentary out of this. There's two of the documentarians that are traveling with us. Kim Brown is also not in this photo. They're going to make a long form documentary that's going to have all the things that long form documentaries have, not just short social media posts and press posts and interviews and all that we're doing, but also a long form documentary. And that's because we want to share these stories more widely. We want to share these stories with people all over the country. We want to host screenings in theaters and be in film festivals and do all the things that you do with documentaries. So some of what we're raising money for are the documentaries. So if you're interested in funding this, coming along, contributing, if you know foundations or individuals who want to fund this kind of thing, we'd love to have you. We'd love to have you do that, because getting ourselves, through this border wall and to the humanity on the other side is so crucial. This is a photo of somebody from our team on the U.S. side, where all the barbed wire is, handing a camera back through the fence to people on the Mexico side, where on their side of the fence, it's painted with artwork. I can't seem to get over the contrast of, on the U.S. side, it's dangerous wire, and on the Mexican side, it's beautiful artwork. Really kind of strikes me. Hey, Mario, I see that you've joined in. Look, Mario and I were two of the riders today, and we rode 73.7 miles today, and we had a 72-mile ride yesterday. So we're a little, and today, I promise you, we make this joke a lot, but it was really true today. It was uphill and into the wind for 7 hours. It was unbelievable. But Mario, anything you wanted to share about the experience so far, or the ride today, or anything like that?
Well, I came in on the part where you were talking about, I guess, the fear of the unknown from some of these places that we're visiting. And I thought last weekend in Juarez really struck me as a reminder that the media doesn't necessarily paint an accurate depiction of what goes on in these cities. I thought that riding through Juarez is just like, it was a beautiful Mexican city, just like many other cities that I've been to that are deemed safer. So that really struck me. There were so many beautiful people that were waving at us,
Yeah.
It was just reaffirming. That people should go to these places.
Yeah, I was saying before you got on, and you can attest to this, how many times people in these places say to us, thank you for coming, and please tell other people to come
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, I met a man today last night at the RV park that we were staying at. I was chatting him up. He had a big, beautiful RV, lives in Naples, Florida, also lives in the state that I'm from, Minnesota. And so we're talking about all those things. And I said, well, we're doing this ride. And he said, we just rode over today from Tucson, Arizona. So they had a long drive. It took us, a week, 2 weeks to ride from there. You got there today, a long drive. And I said, well, did you get down by the border? He said, no, after all that I've heard, I wasn't sure how safe it was for us to drive down there. After all that I've heard, I want to talk briefly about politics, but people are hearing different things, and we want to make sure they hear the other things. And look, news media, journalists, I'm a big news junkie. I love it. I follow news like people follow sports or cooking shows. Like I know the players, I know what's going on. I'm into it. I love it. News stories are rarely baby is born and is very cute. Like that's not a news story, because that happens all the time. News is the exception. News is the thing that is unusual. News is the thing that people should be afraid of. So our news by definition is going to be all of that, exceptional and more scary than the rest. So it's up to the rest of us to tell the other stories, right? I don't think we need to tell the media to say more, say less, tell other people to be quiet. We just all need to speak up and tell the truth of what we know, which is why we want to be asking people on the border and people over the United States, what do you know to be true that you wish everyone else in the country knew to be true, and to share that story. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're up to. I've said it 100 times and I'll say it 100 more. We would love to have you join us, whether that's virtually, social media wise, as a contributor, as someone who just brags about what we do or tells people you have some friends that are riding across the country. We keep running into these people who are like, oh, I'm going to tell my mom about this. I'm going to tell my brother about this. I'm going to tell my daughter. They're really into biking and they would think this is just great. Can I get a picture of your truck? Can I get a picture of you guys with, your shirts on? People are just glad that all the goodness that's out there is also being shared. And look, if we're going to have a democratized media and social media, the stuff that we want to have on social media and in the media, like let's tell those stories. So thanks for being willing to help us to do this. We're going to keep our business to 30 minutes tonight. I'll just give one last chance. If anybody has a comment, a question, want to ask about the riding, if you want to ask about the work that we're doing, you want to ask about any of that, you can put a comment in the social spaces, and Britton will check all those places and see if there's any comments or anything. If you're watching this on a recording, like if it's after 8:30 p.m. on Tuesday, October 5th, Central Time, this is no longer live. So obviously, if you leave a comment there, we're not going to respond to it in the video. We might respond to it elsewhere, but all right. Any other comments? Anything else anybody wants to say? Tomorrow we start making our way down toward Del Rio. Del Rio has been in the news. This is where the Haitian asylum seekers gathered together and we're under that bridge. We're going to be in Del Rio this weekend. Most of the Haitian migrants and asylum seekers are gone from there now. But there's a lot of other really important work going on in Del Rio. And then from there, we'll make our way next weekend down to McAllen, Texas. And so in between, we'll be riding along the Rio Grande River. Right now, we're just riding up hills and into the wind in West Texas. So it's a doozy. My face is windburned today, Mario. I don't know how your face is feeling, but I can feel, I don't think it's sun today. I think it's windburn. I don't think there is no wind lotion, to make you, well, I guess there is. You put that. I'll take that back. I should have put wind lotion on my face to keep that from happening. I'll do that tomorrow. All right. Any comments from anyone? All right. Good enough. It's enough for tonight. Thanks for being a part of all this. And from the We the People for Common Good Immigration and Border Practices, we will see you down the road.